Warning, this video may affect your enjoyment of competitive multiplayer games. If you don't want to be affected, click away now. All numbers and thoughts mentioned in this video are estimates and should be interpreted as such. A while ago I was playing Titanfall 2, an actually good AAA title. Could you imagine that? Just doing a simple team deathmatch when a cheater started aimbotting our whole team all over the map. This guy was obviously not even trying to hide the fact that he was cheating. Dumb is what I thought. You're going to get reported by everyone and your little kill streak will be over soon. Yeah, little did I know. Guess what? You can't report people for cheating on Origin. You can report them for pretty much everything else except for cheating. I don't know which fool designed this, but fire them. Although all launchers other than Steam are trash anyway, and that's a compliment because before trash became trash it was actually useful, and that's why launchers are less than trash, the more you know. Seriously though, is it really that hard to just let us have our games in one place? I digress. A quick Google search confirmed that the anti-cheat in Titanfall is about as effective as pouring water on yourself to make you grow. I believe they used a system called Fair Fight. Annoyed by this, I moved on, thinking I'll just come back later and hopefully they'll fix it someday. At the time I still played a decent amount of Apex and it only took 2 matches before I run into someone using what I would describe as magnetic bullets. Like, what are the chances? 2 cheaters that fast after each other, 2 different games as well. Although Titanfall and Apex are obviously related. Titanfall is still way better though. Apex uses an anti-cheat called Easy Anti-Cheat. I don't know what it is with these names, but they're just named so freaking poorly. Fair Fight and Easy Anti-Cheat. Did they want to make the cheaters laugh or something? It's no surprise that people cheat, and I have ran into cheaters in the past before, but at that time I mostly played games where it doesn't really matter that you die. You know, games like Battlefield and Call of Duty. You just hit respawn, and as long as your cheater doesn't make it very obvious, you just go on with your day. As long as my KD was positive, it was all good to me. I bet I'm not the only one who played games like that. Lately, however, I've been playing more objective-orientated games, where it is far more frustrating to die. Games like Rainbow Six, Hunt Showdown and Valorant, and I just couldn't help but look up what was going on because something just felt off. I realized that even though I spend more time playing and practicing, I seem to not improve or even get worse at them. Then I started wondering, how many games that I would call my favorites right now are PvP? And the answer was none. Now, some of the games in my favorite list had PvP, but I mostly put them as favorite for the single player or co-op modes. Titanfall 2 is a good example of this. So now I couldn't let it go anymore. All my favorite games all of a sudden weren't PvP anymore, and I have to look into this. Especially because most of my favorite games used to be PvP. And oh boy did this open my eyes. The first thing I ran into was an anonymous survey which showed that 57% of people use cheats. Now, I fully expect that some of those people, even though anonymous, would still be too scared to admit that they're cheating. I don't know if you recognize the trend yet, but cheaters tend to be absolute kitty cats. This basically means that the number is most likely even higher. Then I decided to find some explanations on YouTube, and that's when it got even worse. My god, has it become bad. I thought that at least some games had really good anti-cheat, like Valorant for example, which is indeed harder to bypass and therefore is better. Or should I say, it takes more time to bypass, because that's what it really came down to. It's still a joke, really. I will link 2 videos in the description. One will show how people bypass anti-cheats and the other will show just how bad it is in some games in particular. I found out that it was actually pretty easy to get past the Vanguard anti-cheat, and then realized that that was one of the best anti-cheats out there, basically meaning that it's even easier in all the other games, and my mind was blown. So after some research, I realized just how many cheaters there are, and also found out why. You see, there has been a trend lately where more money is involved in games. Accounts are being boosted and sold, and some games allow you to earn paid in-game currency by simply playing the game. Some accounts are then being sold after grinding for that. This gives people more reason to cheat. Obviously, streaming on Twitch has become an actual job that a lot of people aspire to do, and a bunch of people have already been caught using cheats just to stand out as they try to please an audience. We used to have more server-based games with admins keeping an eye out, but nowadays it's mostly random matchmaking. Heck, we even got whole ass YouTube channels dedicated to exposing cheaters. So then how many cheaters are there? Well, it's hard to say exactly, but if I had to take an estimated guess, I would say on average about 50%. And most definitely at least 1/3 at any given time. Cheating has become an absolute booming business, and some people are willing to pay big bucks for it. Games where you don't respawn until the round is over all seem to have higher numbers of cheaters. And yes, this includes Valorant with their kernel deep Vanguard system, as some people have been cheating for literally years without getting caught. It's gone really out of hand and it's only getting worse, especially with AI on the rise. There are even monitors with AI in them, which you can learn to recognize and mark enemies, or have it warn you when an enemy gets close.
You might see little red skulls that pop up, like at the top or down at the bottom or off to the side. That's analyzing the mini-map and giving you an indication, there was one just there, of where the threat is coming from.
These monitors are a big problem, as they will most likely just be seen as a regular monitor by the anti-cheat systems. You see, people are easily fooled. Perhaps you just check your Discord because of the sound effect that I put in the video. So remember, the people that we see cheating are only the ones we see cheating. Now imagine all the ones we don't see. Cheating really is a big problem. Developers often don't have enough budget to fight the cheaters.
I had quit every shooter because of cheating. We wanted to invest more into that than anyone else.
How hard is that?
The hardest.
How expensive is that?
Literally tens of millions of dollars.
To give you an idea, some games died the second they came out due to cheaters. The Psycho Frontier is one of them. That game lasted about 2 weeks, tops. So why would I put in the time and effort just for some dork to come in and win by cheating while not even paying attention as he watches My Little Pony on his iPad, or whatever dorks watch nowadays? After finding all of this out, I couldn't play the competitive games anymore. BattleBit was still fun as it doesn't matter as much when you die, although that one does have a lot of cheaters. But games like Valorant, Rainbow Six and Hunt Showdown have become unplayable for me. My favorite game franchise is still Monster Hunter, so I thought luckily that's a co-op game, so at least that's still playable. But aren't there more games like that out there? Well, yeah, some of them, but most multiplayer games are PvP. And then I wondered, why is that? And this is where I have a theory that is honestly based on nothing but suspicion and some statistics. And I'm just trying to be honest here, but take it with a grain of salt, because I think some developers are in on the cheats. Wait, hold up, Dusk, that's quite the accusation right there. Well, yeah, let me explain why that is. Imagine, you are a developer, you bring out a game, it's PvP. People start cheating. You spend some money on an anti-cheat. People are still cheating because they just update the cheats and bring out a new one. You realize that this is a never-ending cycle. So now there's 2 things you can do. Find the distributor of the cheats and sue them, potentially spending a lot of money on that if you are able to find them at all. Or try to get in contact with them and tell them that only a certain amount of people playing the game are allowed to have cheats, limiting the amount of cheaters. They could do this by marking people with cheats, like a hidden marker that only the developer sees. This would keep the game in a playable state. And then you would charge the cheat makers with like 20% of each cheat that they sell, and then you would promise them that you won't sue them. Now this is just a theory.
A game theory.
But let's be honest, do you really think that some companies are going to spend money to fight the cheaters? Or do you think they're going to make more money by managing the cheaters?
If you had to choose between
no more cheaters
and all the money I have in my pocket, which would you take?
That depends. How much money are we talking about?
Mr. Krabs, 62 cents.
I'll take the money.
I'm sure it's been done before, I just don't have any proof. But money wise, it makes far more sense to manage the cheaters rather than fight them. So do with this information what you want. And if you think that cheating isn't that big of an issue, then you truly haven't done enough research. It's literally a multi-million-dollar business, and literally every single anti-cheat has multiple ways of being bypassed, even the kernel deep ones like Vanguard. There's some hope out there with AI anti-cheats, but I also have my concerns about that, as people will always find a way around every system anyways, because cheating has been around for as long as humans have existed. The ones that do it are just poor losers. But this is why I first thought about quitting PvP games altogether. I thought to myself, why would I sit here trying to relax after a long day of work just to get destroyed by some tryhards and cheaters? I just want to have fun playing something. Now the meta in video games has also been a problem, since everybody always immediately Googles the best loadouts, weapons, armors, you name it. Like, are we still even playing to have fun in the first place?
Let it boy, Rico! Don't let him have it! Okay, I guess that works.
At first I uninstalled some PvP games and started playing more single player and co-op ones, when I realized that I enjoy that a lot more, and I installed pretty much all my PvP games. Now keep in mind, I'm not making this video to tell you what to do. You decide for yourself what games you want to play. But what I am saying is, ask yourself if you are still having fun, and be honest, because perhaps you're just playing things because you used to like them, and the memories of the games are now better than the actual game. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.
If you can take advantage of a situation in some way, it's your duty as an American to do it. Why should the race always be to the swift, or the jumble to the quick-witted? Should they be allowed to win merely because of the gifts God gave them? Well, I say, cheating is the gift man gives himself.
Mr. Burns, I insist that we cheat.
Excellent.